Hey, Merry Christmas, slapdicks. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to part 1 of the series finale of 25 Days, 25 Gripes, in which we've looked at annoying-ass people and their annoying-ass habits. I'm your host, Mr. P, and in part 1 today, we're covering a broad topic that most of you should relate to, retail, and how a 6-letter word may be the root cause of why I'm such a perpetually angry person. Now, what this has in common with the grocery store episode is that retail and the grocery store, and sometimes they're one and the same, offers you quite the insight into the mind of the stupid. If you've never worked retail, but are curious to see how far we've fallen intellectually as a human race, you're guaranteed to get that experience working in customer service. And I unfortunately feel qualified, if not overqualified, to speak on this subject, because for the better part of the 9 years that I've been employed, most of those jobs have been in retail, sadly. And that's the ultimate catch-22 regarding this particular subject. I hate people, but I find that I'm also a people person. Don't even ask me how that makes sense because I couldn't begin to tell you. And as much as this is a verbal assault on customer service, I have even more respect for people in the service industry, waiters and waitresses, because in that scenario, at least with customer service, you're dealing with people for a few minutes at a time. But in the service industry, not only do you have to deal with people for an hour and a half, you're relying on those people for tips. So you have to fake being a good person. I worked in a cafe once, couldn't do it. I did it for the time that I had to, obviously, but it was not one time that I thought, you know what, I could do this again. Because honestly, what do I give a fuck if your eggs are cooked properly or not? I don't. But I feel the difference is most people will dread working customer service because they fear the one day they'll run into that asshole that verbally berates them and makes them question their self-worth. I don't think I've had quite that person yet, but I've definitely been screamed at both in and outside of work. So seeing younger kids get flustered over some boomer being a shithead has me both simultaneously saying, Jesus, these kids are fucking soft, even though I'm not that much older than them. While also saying, it's probably not a good thing that you're desensitized to old people acting pissed off all the time. My mentality, so to speak, when dealing with customers is to be as nice as you can, while also hurrying the fuck up so you can not only deal with the person behind them, but to also minimize any awkwardness during that transaction. And oftentimes, customers want to do everything in their power to waste not only their time, but your time and the time of the people in line behind them. One example is a person or people being in the back of a line for 5 to 10 minutes, having all the time in the world to look at what they want or prepare with how they want to deal with me. So what do I get when those people finally get to the front of the line?
What kind of deals do you guys have here? What do you sell? I don't know what I want yet.
Are you fucking kidding me? You had 10 minutes to look at everything that you wanted, at the very least 10 minutes, and you're sitting there fucking around with your boy, not organizing yourself? And now this becomes my problem, and the problem of the people behind you. The ignorance. And I know I mentioned this in the episode covering old people, but for all the shit that millennials get over expecting everything to be free, I've witnessed a disproportionate amount of old people try to move heaven and earth to redeem a gift card. Do not redeem it! No! You're a real one if you get that reference. But just to save $2 or $3 off and would often cop an attitude if they can't do it. There's probably two things, though, that have always driven me up a wall, and they're loosely related. If somebody already orders something, and you're in the middle of getting what they wanted, only for them to say, actually, I changed my mind, can you make it a so-and-so? Oh, the rage that courses through my veins. I'm not a fucking dancing bear who's just going to be out here on display for you to throw in 20 different directions, instead of you just being organized. And my second pet peeve is when customers, or even people in general, know they're being annoying and try to laugh it off as if to just say, oh, what a rascal I am. Isn't it endearing that I'm this stupid? And they expect you to share their laughter? And again, that's just a general people thing, but it does happen at work a lot. I remember a couple weeks ago I ran into one of my coworkers rounding a corner, and she was already draining the life from my soul the whole day with just how much she talks. So at that point I was already mentally done. But we cross the corner, we basically run into each other, and she just laughs to herself and says, it's okay, you can just hit me next time. As of course I'm already thinking, oh, I'd love to fucking hit you. Or another personal favorite is when people pay with a certain amount of money, but decide after you ring up the transaction,
oh, I actually have the extra change right here.
The only saving grace about that is the joy I feel when I tell those people, Yeah, well, I already ran up the transaction. I can't mess up the computer, so. Which is translation for I'm not doing mental math, even if it's simple mental math, because you just now want to get your shit together. It's one of the few tools that retail workers are given, I feel, to fight back against dumb customers. The other one is people wanting to occupy your place of employment the minute after you close, and just the pure and utter happiness I feel when I can tell them, I'm sorry, we just closed. When underneath it I want to say, nice try, now go waste somebody else's time, you fucking goon. What about you guys? Have you ever worked a customer service job that makes you again question why you were even born in the first place? What's your worst retail story? Do you feel a moral victory when you can deny customers certain things that would otherwise make them happy? Hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of the series finale. In part 2 that will be posted tonight, we saved the holiday season and all that comes with it as our last gripe of the year, as well as some additional thoughts from yours truly. Thank you guys for listening to part 1. Hope to have you for part 2, and as always, if you're enjoying what I'm spewing, please like and subscribe.